Aren't you sick and tired of what personal finance gurus are teaching you? Over the past couple of years, I've spent so much money on seminars, personal finance books, audio programs, YouTube videos, podcasts, on my quest to start to master my financial area of my life. And most programs recycle the same shit over and over and over again. The reason that I made this video is yesterday I saw this quote by a famous personal finance guru. I'm not going to name names. The quote on social media went something like this: if you invested $500 a month in 1982, you will have $3.494 million today. I'm sure that you heard this before, maybe said differently or by some other famous person, like that story of a UPS delivery guy who never made more than 15,000 a year, but then he retired with $1 gazillion. Now, a lot of personal finance gurus are great, but most of them recycle this same bullshit story over and over again. And there's a lot wrong with this. If you look at the facts, I have nothing to say because, yeah, if you did invest $500 a month from 1982 till today, I'm sure that that calculation is right. It's 3.494 million. So what actually is wrong with it? If you want to compare returns year after year after year, you cannot compare apples with oranges. The economic climate in 1982 was so different. $500 in 1982 was actually $1,514 in today's currency because there's inflation and prices increase and the value of money goes down. So if you wanted to invest $500 in 1982, it was actually worth $1,514 at the time. Here's another thing that's wrong with this lie that personal gurus tell you. The average median salary in 1982 was $23,000 a year, $23,430 to be exact. Now, to invest $500 a month, 500 times 12 is $6,000. To invest $6,000, that will mean 25% of your salary is invested. And mind you this, the 23,000 average salary was before taxes. So after taxes, it will be much less. How many of you can actually save that much of percentage? 25% of your income invested, it's quite a lot. Here is another thing that's wrong with this equation. These personal finance gurus, they're not talking about fees. Today, I can trade stocks easily, but with a click of a button, and I don't pay any fees. But back then, the fees were huge. You had to call your stockbroker like, hey, can I buy a couple of Shell stocks or Amazon stocks? Amazon wasn't there, by the way. And you had to pay for the phone call, you had to pay for the brokerage fee, you had to pay for foreign exchange fees. There were so many different kinds of fees. And in these calculations, they don't look at the fees. And that leads to the last point that I already briefly touched upon, which is back then, it was so much harder to trade stocks. Nowadays, everyone, with a click of a button, you can open a trading account, transfer some money, buy some stock. But back then, there was no internet. You had to call your stockbroker. You had to wait for, a couple of hours before they could actually buy the stock. And there were so many more variables. And yeah, this just really pisses me off to hear the same story recycled over and over and over again. And it's so cheap because it's not a lie. If you invested $500 back then, you will have 3.4 million today. But they don't talk about all of the other factors. And it's so misleading. And finally, I want to end with this. Past results do not guarantee the future. Even if you invested $500 a month in 1982, yeah, you will have 3.4 million today. But personal finance gurus who give this example kind of imply like, hey, if you now start to save $500 a day, in 40 years, you too will have $3.4 million. And that's the first lesson that you learn in investing. Past results are no guarantee for the future. You cannot say, oh, it went up 10% a year, so it must go up 10% a year forever. That's just totally unreasonable and it's not fair. And the average investor loses out because they don't get educated. They believe, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire, put $100 a month in my account. I don't have that Starbucks, which is another personal finance lie that people tell you. Like, don't go to Starbucks. If you save $4 a day, in 20 years, you will be a gazillionaire if you get 10% compounded annual return. It's the same bullshit story. I'm sure you heard it. I'm sure you're sick of it. And I'm sick of it too. Now, I would love to hear from you. How many times and in which kind of books and seminars have you heard about this lie that personal finance gurus talk about? I would love to hear from you. Let me know below. And I will also really appreciate it if you subscribe and click the like button. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video. Bye for now.